Welcome to this full moon Vinyasa flow sequence. So go ahead and get on your mat and make your way into child's pose. So we're going to do wide-legged child's pose. So bring your feet together to touch, bring your knees wide, drop your torso down between your knees, and walk your hands out in front of you on the mat, palms flat. And then just sink down, letting gravity pull you closer down towards the floor. And deepen your breath. Now activate your hands. Make little circus tents with your hands, and then spider your fingers over to the left, walking them off your mat, keeping your hands active, pressing down through your fingertips. And breathe into your right side body. And then spider your hands back to center, and then walk them over to the right off your mat. Now breathing into your left side. Make sure to keep your hands active, pressing your fingertips into the mat and tenting the middle of your palms up off the floor. And then walk your hands back to center. Spread your fingers wide, press your weight into your hands, begin to lift your torso up off the mat, and drop into wide-legged cobra, dropping your hips down on the mat, pressing down through your hands, roll your shoulders onto your back. Exhale, press back to wide-legged child's pose. On an inhale, roll back up to cobra, drop your hips on the mat. And on an exhale, press back down to child's pose. Bring your hips to your ankles. On an inhale, flow back through cobra, roll your shoulders onto your back, gaze ahead. And on an exhale, roll back, child's pose. Press your weight down through your hands and make your way to all fours. Stack your hands beneath your shoulders and your knees beneath your hips. And then inhale, bring your left arm vertical, and exhale, thread the needle, drawing your left arm under your right arm, and bring your left temple to the mat. Continue to press down through your right palm. And inhale, extend the left arm vertical again, and release it back to the mat for all fours. Change sides. Inhale, extend your right arm long, and exhale, thread the needle, drawing the arm under the left, and bringing your right temple to the floor. Inhale, release your right arm out, vertical again, and then bring it back to all fours. Step your feet back, and then press up into plank position. Hands stacked beneath your shoulders. On an exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, press up to downward facing dog. Let's do flow of this. So inhale, flow into plank. Exhale, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, press up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, press back down dog. Inhale, ripple into plank position. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. And inhale, find your way back to down dog. Again, inhale to plank. Exhale, lower. And inhale, press up and back to down dog. And slowly begin to walk your way to the top of your mat, bringing your feet in line with your hands. Inhale for a halfway lift, and exhale, fold, bringing your fingertips on either side of your feet. Inhale to rise, circle your hands overhead, bring your torso upright, gaze up at your thumbs, and then bring your hands together at heart center. Interlace your fingers at the base of your spine. Inhale, extend your spine long, and exhale, fold forward, bend into your knees, bring your forehead to your knees. Press your interlaced fingers towards the front of the room, towards the front of your mat. This is a variation of chair pose. Bend deeply into your knees. And inhale to rise. Then release the interlaced fingers and bring your hands to your sides. palms together at heart center. Inhale, circle your arms overhead, gaze up at your hands, and exhale, swan dive. Fold forward, bring your hands on either side of your feet. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, step it back. Your right foot goes back, and then heel toe your left foot out towards the edge of your mat and bring your hands on the inside edge of your left foot. Release your right knee down to the floor. This is lizard pose. Lift your back knee and step your front foot back to plank. Exhale, lower your knees to the mat and stack your hips over your knees. Then walk your hands forward and release your chest down to the mat, bringing your forehead down. Your palms are flat on the mat. Then begin to press through your forearms and draw your torso through your arms. Release your hips down to the mat. And now you're in Sphinx position. Your elbows are stacked beneath your shoulders. Palms are flat on the mat. Exhale to release your forehead down to the mat. And then inhale to press up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high and step it forward between your hands. Heel toe your right foot out towards the edge of your right side of your mat and bring your hands to the floor on the inside edge of your foot. Release your back knee down to the mat. Press down through your palms. Lift your back knee and bring your hands to frame your front foot again, and then step your left foot forward to meet your right. Inhale for a halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward over your legs, bringing your belly and thighs together to touch. Inhale, rise, circle your hands overhead, bring your torso upright, and bring your palms together at heart center. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Fold forward, hands on either side of your feet. Inhale for a halfway lift. And exhale, step your left foot back. Heel toe your right foot out towards the right edge of your mat. Bring your hands to the inside edge of your foot. Keep your back knee lifted, or you can place it down on the mat, up to you. You can stay up on your palms or walk your hands forward and come down onto your forearms. Press down through your hands. If you're on your forearms, come back onto your palms. And step your right foot back to meet your left for plank. Exhale, lower your knees, stack your hips over your knees, and then release your chest and your torso down towards the mat. You can go onto your forehead or onto your chin for a little bit deeper stretch. Press down through your forearms and draw your torso through your forearms to come into Sphinx. Elbows stacked beneath your shoulders. Palms spread wide. Exhale to release down to the mat. And inhale, press up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left leg forward to the outside of your left foot. You can release your back knee down or keep it lifted. You can stay up on your palms or walk your palms forward about 8 inches and then release down onto your forearms. Spread your fingers wide, palms flat on the mat. Inhale to press down through your palms and lift your forearms back up. And step your back leg forward to come into halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward over your legs, bending your knees. And then inhale to circle your arms overhead and rise. Inhale, circle your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward, hands on either side of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. And step your right foot back. Heel toe your left foot out towards the left edge of your mat, bringing your palms to the inside edge of your foot. Walk your palms forward and come back down onto your forearms. Inhale to press through your palms. And step your left foot back, plank position. Exhale, lower your knees down, hips stacked over your knees, and walk your palms forward, lowering down onto the mat. Come onto your forehead or your chin. Inhale to drag your torso through your arms and release your hips down to the mat. Press down through your palms. Exhale, release your forehead down to the mat, and inhale, press up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high and step it to the front of your mat and heel toe it out to the edge of your mat. Walk your palms forward and come down onto your forearms. Keep your back knee lifted, or you can release it to the floor. Inhale to press down through your palms and step your back foot forward to meet the right. Inhale for a halfway lift and exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, rise, circle your hands overhead, gaze up at your thumbs, and release your hands to heart center. Take a wide stance facing the long edge of the right side of your mat. The ankle of your front foot should line up with the arch of your back foot. Bend into your left knee and extend your arms long in either direction for warrior two. Inhale, crescent down your right side, bring your hand to your thigh or your lower leg. Inhale to rise back up, straighten the front leg, tip your ribs forward, and then drop your hand down onto your shin or to a block or all the way down to the mat, and keep your right arm vertical towards the sky. Gaze up at your right hand or down at the floor for a little bit more support. Exhale, release your right hand down to the mat and frame your left foot with both hands. Step your left foot back to meet the right. Plank position. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin, keeping your hips elevated. Inhale, press up into cobra. And exhale, lift your hips, flip your toes, and press up and back to downward facing dog. Other side. Inhale, lift your right leg high and step it forward between your hands. Swivel your back heel down to the floor and line up your ankle with the arch of your back foot. Extend your arms long in either direction, warrior two. Crescent down your back leg, bringing your left hand to your thigh or your lower leg and circling your right arm over top. Inhale to rise back up, straighten your front leg, tip your ribs forward, and hinge down your right side, bringing your right hand to your shin, to a block, or to the floor. Left arm is vertical. Inhale, rise back to standing. Turn your toes to face the long edge of your mat. Inhale, extend your spine long, interlace your fingers at the base of your spine, and exhale, fold forward. Press your interlaced fingers forward towards the floor. Wide-legged forward fold. And then inhale to rise, using your hands to help draw you back up. Release your interlaced fingers. Place your hands on the mat. Bend into your left knee, coming onto the heel of your right foot. Inhale back up through center, and exhale, bend into your right knee, coming onto the heel of your left foot. Inhaling up, exhaling, bending into the other side. Inhaling up, exhaling, bending down. Keeping your hands still, as close to still as possible. Walk your hands to frame your right foot, come onto the ball of your left foot. Step your right foot back for plank position. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, press up through upward facing dog. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your left leg high and step it forward between your hands. Right foot out towards the right edge of your mat, 1 or 2 inches, and then swivel your back heel down, toes pointing out at 45 degrees. Inhale, rise for warrior one. Straighten your bent knee and bring your palms into reverse mudra, or just clasp the elbows of either arm. Inhale, extend your spine long, and then exhale, fold forward over your straight leg. Inhale for a halfway lift, and then exhale, fold again over that front leg. Inhale to rise back up. Release your hands, come onto the ball of your back foot. Come into a runner's lunge. Bring your hands to frame your front foot, hands on the mat. And then draw your left hand open vertical to the sky. Your right palm is down on the floor on the inside edge of your left foot. Release your back knee down to the mat. And bring your hands to your thigh and bring your torso upright. You can stay here or bend into your right knee and bring your right hand to the top of your right foot to draw it in towards your hip. Inhale to release that foot. Bring your hands back to frame your foot on the floor. Step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Other side. Inhale, lift your right leg high and step it forward between your hands. Step your left foot out to the left, 1 or 2 inches, then swivel your heel down, toes pointing out at 45 degrees. Inhale, rise for warrior one. Bend into your front knee, square your hips forward towards the front of your mat. Straighten the front leg, and then bring your hands together into reverse mudra, palms together to touch. Inhale, extend your spine long, and exhale, fold forward over your front leg. Inhale for a halfway lift, and then exhale, fold deeper. Inhale to rise back up. Release your hands. Bring your hands overhead. Come onto the ball of your back foot and circle your palms to frame your front foot down on the mat. Release your right arm vertical. Press down through your left palm for a little gentle twist. And then exhale, release your hand down to the mat. Release your back knee down to the mat. Bring your hands to your thigh and inhale to rise. You can stay here or bend your back knee and draw your foot in towards your hip. You can double up your mat here like I did to protect your knee if it's a little bit intense on your knee. Draw your foot in towards your body. And inhale to release your left foot back down. Frame your front foot. Step your foot back for plank position. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, press up through upward facing dog. And exhale, lift your hips and press back up, downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple into plank position. Exhale, lower down all the way to your mat. Interlace your fingers behind your head, not your neck, but your head. Bend your knees to bring your feet in closer to your hips. And on an exhale, ground your pubic bone down into the floor. And inhale, lift everything up off the mat. Head comes up, chest comes up, knees come up. Point your toes. And exhale, lower everything back down. Release your interlaced fingers. Press down through your palms and press up into a wide-handed cobra. Your hands should be on the outer edges of your mat. Bend into your right leg and draw your right foot in towards your hip. You can stay lifted here, or you can release down onto your left forearm. That makes it a little bit more accessible. Inhale to release your right foot. Change sides. Bend your left knee and draw your left foot in towards your hip. Again, you can stay lifted up on your right palm, or you can release down onto your right forearm to make it a little more accessible. Exhale to release your forehead back down to the mat, curl your toes under, press up and back to downward facing dog. Ripple into plank position. Then walk your right hand towards the center of your mat and rotate onto the outer edge of your right foot. Stack your feet. You can bring your right knee down to the mat as a kickstand, or keep your feet stacked. Bending into your bottom leg, your right leg, bring your sole of your right foot to the ground. Then bend your top leg. Bring your peace sign fingers to wrap around your big toe and extend that top leg towards straight. Come on back through stacked, then come down to regular plank. Then bring your left hand towards the center of your mat and stack. Rotate onto the outer edge of your left foot. Now, bending into your bottom leg, bring the sole of your left foot to the ground. Then bend your top leg. Bring your peace sign fingers to your big toe and hook your big toe onto your fingers. Then work your leg towards straight. Come on back through regular plank. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, press up through upward facing dog. And exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high and step it forward between your hands. Step your right foot out an inch or two, rotate your back heel down to the floor, and inhale, rise for warrior one. Square your hips towards the front edge of your mat. Interlace your fingers at the base of your spine, straighten your elbows, and inhale, extend your spine long, and then exhale, fold forward to the inner edge of your thigh. You could also fold onto the top of your thigh. Press your interlaced fingers forward towards the front of the room. Release your interlaced fingers and hook your shoulder blade under your thigh. Wrap your left arm under your thigh around your low back and bring your right arm over top to clasp with your hand for a bind. You could also clasp your shirt here if your hands aren't quite coming together. Inhale to release the bind. Rise back up to warrior one. And then begin to lean your weight forward onto your left hand. Lift your right leg towards parallel and bring your hands parallel to the earth for warrior three. Bring your block here about a foot in front of your left foot, and then release your left hand down to the block and draw your right arm open vertical to the sky for half moon. You can also just do this without a block, just hand on the floor. Stay here or bend your top leg and catch your ankle with your right hand. Kick your ankle into your hand, press your chest forward, press your hips forward for sugar cane pose. Slowly release your arm and your leg, and with control, keeping your right leg lifted, fold forward, bringing your left hand to the back of your calf and your right hand grounded on the earth for standing splits. Inhale, halfway lift, and then finally release your right leg down to the mat. Inhale, step it back to plank position. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, press it up through up dog. And exhale, lift your hips, flip your toes, press back through downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right leg high, and then step it forward between your hands. Step your left foot out to the left, an inch or two, then swivel your back heel down, toes pointing out at 45-degree angle. Bring your arms high for warrior one. Square your hips towards the front of your mat. Interlace your fingers at the base of your spine. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Straighten your elbows, extend your spine long, and then exhale, fold forward to the inside of your right leg, or just on top of your right leg. Now you can stay here or go for the bind. So release your interlaced fingers. Hook your shoulder blade to the underside of your thigh, and bring your right hand under your thigh and your left hand over top. And maybe clasp your hands together or hold onto your shirt. Release the bind, bring your hands to frame your front foot, and inhale, rise back up to warrior one. Begin to place more weight into your front foot and draw your back foot forward until you hinge at the waist, bringing your arms and legs parallel to the floor. Let's bring a block in front of your right foot here, about a foot in front of your right foot, or a book if you know you're going to need it. And then release your right hand down to your block and extend your left arm vertical. Point the toes of your top leg. Now you can stay here or bend your top leg and catch your ankle with your top hand. Kick your ankle into your hand. Press your hips forward, press your chest forward. Inhale to gently release your arm and your leg out long, and then bring both hands to the floor. Wrap your right hand around the back of your right calf and ankle, and then fold forward, bringing your forehead towards your shin. Release your top leg down to the mat and step it back to plank. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, press up to upward facing dog. And exhale, roll it back to downward facing dog. From here, release your knees down to the mat. Sit back on your heels and then swing your legs in front of you to come into a seated position. Bend your right knee and catch your right foot with both hands, and then swing your left foot around close into your right hip. Then bring your foot to the crook of your left elbow and your knee to the crook of your right elbow, and interlace your fingers at the middle of your shin. Flex your right toes back towards your shin. Lift your shin up towards parallel with the earth and extend your spine long. And then draw your leg in towards your chest, hug it in. On an inhale, release your right leg out long, release your left leg out long, and change sides. Catch your left foot in either hand. Bring your foot to the crook of your right elbow and your knee to your left elbow, then swing your right foot around close to your hip. Interlace your fingers at mid-shin. Extend your spine up tall so you're not rounding your spine here. Draw your shin up towards parallel. And inhale to release both legs out long. Bend both knees as much as you need in order to lean forward and clasp either of your feet in either hand. Make sure there's contact between your belly and your thighs here. Inhale, halfway lift your spine long, and then exhale, fold forward, bringing your forehead towards your knees or shins. And slow your breath here. On an inhale, release and rise back up to seated. Bend both knees. And bring your hands behind you, fingertips pointing out towards the long edge of your mat, and then an inhale, lift your hips up for a reverse tabletop. Press down through your hands, and then exhale, lower your hips back down to the mat. Come into boat pose, leaning back on your sits bones. Lift your shins parallel to the earth, and then bring your hands to your back of your thighs. Maybe release your hands out long, and then release your legs down to the mat. And we're going to come into cow pose. So stack your knees one on top of the other, left knee on top of the right, knees pointing straight forward. And then bring your left hand over top to come down your back, and then your right hand comes under to clasp with your hand. If your hands don't quite make contact, you can clasp your shirt here instead. Inhale and keep your spine long here. Gently release your hands and change sides. So now your right knee comes stacked on top of your left leg, knees pointing directly forward. This time bring your right hand over top. You can help get it down there by nudging your elbow down your back with your other hand, and then bring your left hand under to clasp. Inhale and bring your spine long. No rounding your spine here. Tone your low belly. And release the clasp. Release your legs. And come on to all fours and then into plank position. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, press up through upward facing dog. And exhale, press up and back to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg high, inhale, and then step it forward between your hands. Release your back knee down to the mat. You can double fold your mat here to put it under your knee, and then inhale, rise, bringing your hands to your thigh. You can stay here or draw your right foot in towards your hip with your hand, and maybe go for mermaid, so bringing your foot in to the crook of your elbow, and then circling your left hand over top to clasp your right. Inhale to gently release. Bring your hands back to frame your front foot. Step your left foot back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high and step it forward between your hands. Release your left knee down to the mat, maybe double folding your mat for some extra padding for your knee. Inhale, bring your torso upright and bring your hands to your thigh. You can stay here or bend your back leg and catch your foot with your left hand to draw your foot in closer to your hip. You can stay here or slip your foot in to the crook of your elbow and draw your right hand over top to clasp with your left for mermaid. Inhale to release. Bringing your hands back to the mat, step your front foot back to meet your left foot, plank position. Lower your knees to the mat, sit back towards your heels, and widen your knees here. Bring the outer edges of your palms together and bring your fingertips as close to under your hips as you can, fingertips pointing towards the back of the mat. Then bring the crown of your head to the floor. You can stay here, perfectly good place to stop, or step one foot out straight behind you and then the other. You can stay here or bring your feet together to touch. Peacock. To release, gently release your knees down to the floor and then bring one leg in, then the other. And then press down through your palms to lift your head back up. Okay, go ahead and grab a blanket here to lift your hips up a little bit. Fold the blanket under. You can pause the video. Unless you're really flexible, it's good to lift your hips up a little bit here. So sit on the edge of your blanket and extend your legs out wide for wide-legged forward fold. You can stay lifted up here, pressing down through your hands behind your hips, or inhale, extend your spine long, and then exhale, fold forward. And inhale to gently walk your palms back up and lift your torso upright. Use your hands under your knees to draw your legs in together. And then bring the soles of your feet together for bound angle pose. Open your feet like a book. Inhale, extend your spine long. And maybe you want to exhale and fold forward over your feet, keeping your hands on your feet. Inhale to rise back up. And come to lay on your back, on your mat. And walk your feet in close to your hips. Brush your ankles with your fingertips. Then on an inhale, lift your hips. Roll one shoulder onto your back and then the other. And then interlace your fingers under your hips. For bridge pose, roll your inner thighs in and down towards the mat. Press down through your hands. Press down through your shoulders. Lift your chest up towards your chin. And gently release your interlace and release one vertebrae at a time. You can either do bridge again, or to go into wheel pose, bring your palms by your ears, fingertips pointing in towards your shoulders. Then lift your hips, then come onto the crown of your head. And once you're there, finally press up all the way up into wheel pose. Straighten arms. Roll your thighs in and down. And to release, tuck your chin and slowly come back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Now you're back on the mat. Walk your feet out further from your hips. Go knock-kneed for a moment. Inhale to find your way back up to a seated position. Stack your legs so that your shins are parallel with the front edge of your mat. Bring your right leg on top of your left. If there's a big gap between your right knee and your left ankle, you can put a block in between there or a blanket. Stay lifted if this is deep enough. Or inhale, extend your spine long, and exhale, fold forward over your legs. This is a deep hip opener, fire log stacking pose. On an inhale, press down through your palms and find your way back up to seated. Change sides. This time stack your left leg, left shin on top of your right shin, ankles stacked over knee and knee over ankle. You can stay lifted with your hands behind you on the floor, or inhale, extend your spine long, and exhale, fold forward over your legs. And inhale, press down through your palms to rise back up to seated. Release your legs and make your way down onto your back for final rest for Shavasana. So make yourself comfortable, extend your legs out long, open your palms up to the sky. Release any remaining tension in your body and allow yourself to just sink down into the mat. And take a couple minutes to just relax and rest. Thank you for practicing today. Thank you for watching the video. You can like and subscribe below. Namaste.